Hi, this video is for recent yoga teacher graduates, yoga teacher trainees, and anybody who's looking to create a yoga teacher who's looking to create a yoga class plan. My name is Wendy. I am an ERYT 500 teacher. I teach yoga, and I also certify people to become yoga instructors. And in this video, we start at the beginning. Do you remember when you were a student? And well, I think even as teachers, we're forever students of yoga. There's so much to learn. But when you come into a yoga classroom, a yoga studio, you come into the room, the teacher is there, the music is on, it smells good, the temperature is the right temperature for that particular class. And a part of you is like, the room is ready for me and I'm ready for this practice. And there's this moment of transition. It's a wonderful feeling to know that you're ready. The room is ready for you to begin. So that's first of all. So as a teacher, what does that mean for you? That means that if the class is scheduled to start at 9:30, that you are in the room at 9:15. It's 9:30 for the students, but for you, make it a priority to be there early. That is part of preparing the beginning of class for them and for yourself. Why is it for yourself? Everybody who is in that classroom in the studio is transitioning from the world out there to the yoga practice. And there's a time of transitioning. And if you get there early, that helps you set yourself up, get ready for the class, as well as setting up the classroom for the students. It is extremely important for the classroom to be ready and prepared so that the students have the best experience possible. So first thing, be early. Second is get the students in the starting pose. So whatever the starting pose is, it could be crisscross applesauce, sukhasana, it could be child's pose, balasana, and it could be a supine pose, lying back on a bolster, or Supta Baddha Konasana. Whatever the pose is that you've chosen for the beginning of this class, it could be on a chair as well, depending on who you're teaching. Whatever the beginning pose is, instruct them to get into that beginning pose. So, for example, sit in a comfortable position, legs crossed in front. If that's not available or it's too tight, sit on a block or a bolster. So get them in the pose. Child's pose, hips to the heels, stretch the arms out in front. Whatever it is, get them in the pose. That's one. So this is the second stage where you get them in the pose, and then you describe what is happening in the pose. So why is this important? Basically, it's a mindful awareness exercise right at the beginning of class to invite the students to become more present, to be focused on the present. So you've got them in, for example, child's pose. Describe the length of the spine, the length from the crease in the hips to the top of the head, the heaviness in the hips, which parts are stretching, which parts are expanding, how the belly is in between the knees in child's pose, and focus entirely on what is happening in the pose. So this is a transition. This is a transition from getting into the classroom and becoming more present, inviting the students to become more present in the present moment. Now, why is this important? The first sutra in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, I've read about 5 or 6 translations of that first sutra. And it is actually a call from Patanjali to be present. He's saying yoga can only be practiced and get the maximum benefit if we're fully present in the now, in that moment. Next is the breath. So from describing the shape, what is happening while the student is in the pose, moving from there to the breath, moving from the body to the breath. So that is calls for even deeper way to go inward. So leaving the world behind and becoming more present in the practice. And when we focus on the breath, it becomes a very personal thing because we're listening to our own breath. And as the yoga instructor, guiding them to be aware of the quality of their breath. Is it short? Is it long? Which parts of the body are expanding and contracting with the inhalation and then with the exhalation? Can they make the breath a little smoother, a little softer in this moment, a little longer? So this describing the breath after describing the shape of the body is another way of creating more mindful awareness right at the beginning of the class for the practice. So the fourth thing to remember is then after the body, the breath, the positioning, etc., is a theme, an intention, perhaps a quote. At this point in time, they are ready to receive whatever the theme is, whatever the quote is, and or perhaps an observation during the day, a wish, an intention. This is where you can present it in a way that they are open to receive it. The last point to remember is a clear signal that you're transitioning from the centering to more movement in the class. So there are various ways that you can do that. Perhaps I'll do another video more detailed on that. Here are a few options. Some people like to close with an om. Some people start with the breath, a more active, a warmer breath. Some people start with very slight movements, stretching over to one side or the other. Whatever choice you make, it has to, or opening the eyes, if the eyes were closed and they're in crisscross in Sukhasana, from closed eyes to open eyes, automatically we know that there's a transition. It doesn't have to be complicated, but it has to be a clear signal that the centering is over and that the movement is about to begin. So just to review, the 5 points for the very beginning of class. As a teacher, make it a priority to be there early, to set up the classroom for you and for the students. Secondly, get them in a beginning pose, whatever that beginning pose is, and describe that pose as a form of mindful awareness and to bring them more present. From the body, move to the breath and describe the breath and maybe invite a short breath practice at this point. Fourthly, set an intention. Here would be the moment to bring in a theme or a quote. And the last point is to have a clear signal that the warm-ups are over. I hope that you found this useful, and stay tuned for part 2.